Sir Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner, leader and deputy leader of the Labour Party, have pledged to offer their resignations if they are issued fixed penalty notices for breaking lockdown rules.
Yeah, the leader of the opposition and his deputy have come under renewed pressure over that work event in Durham in April 2021, where Sir Keir was, as we all know now, videoed having a drink and a takeaway curry. And joining us now to talk about this is the Shadow Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson.
Morning.
Good morning, Ms Phillipson. Thanks very much for coming in. OK, we see in this morning's Guardian that the Labour Party are very confident that they have the evidence to clear Sir Keir on this. They've got documentary evidence, they say, showing that it was a work do and work continued until 1 in the morning after the curry had been consumed. So was it actually that risky of Sir Keir yesterday to make this pledge to resign if he's given a fine?
Well, we are confident that no rules were broken, but I think it is the right thing to do because it demonstrates that honesty and integrity in public life matter. And I think in the shape of Keir Starmer, you have someone that takes that incredibly seriously and wants to do the right thing and to show that he's doing the right thing. Whereas you look at the Prime Minister, of course, who was found to have broken the law, where there were multiple parties at Downing Street, where there were karaoke parties, people bringing booze in suitcases, and yet still the Prime Minister hasn't done the decent thing.
Yeah, what I'm really asking you is, was what Sir Keir did yesterday gesture politics? That actually he is a barrister, and he must have known that if that evidence exists, as the Guardian reports, then it's going to get him off. So it was a bit of an empty gesture, really, done for effect.
I just think it was the right thing to do, to set out very clearly that the rules apply to all of us, but they also apply to politicians, and that Keir Starmer holds himself to high standards, that high standards in public life do matter, and then all politicians are the same. And I think you can see that very clearly, and there's a real striking contrast between the actions of Keir Starmer and the failure of Boris Johnson to do the decent thing and act.
The other point is Durham police are on the record as saying that they don't retrospectively issue fines. So again, it's very low risk, isn't it, to say that he'll resign if he's fined, because they don't have a track record of doing that, of issuing fines on things which have happened a long time ago.
The police are looking into the matter again. I think it's right they do so without fear or favour. But I do just believe it was the right thing to do, and it demonstrates to me why Keir would be an excellent Prime Minister, because he's a man of honesty and decency, unlike our current Prime Minister.
OK, hasn't he rather boxed himself in, though? Because people know that Boris Johnson is a different sort of politician to Keir Starmer. That's not a revelation to anybody. They know that Boris Johnson has been fined for breaking the law, and they know that Boris Johnson has not resigned and doesn't look like he's going to. Meanwhile, Sir Keir Starmer has set himself up as Mr. Rules and could end up being the leader who actually steps down, while Boris Johnson goes, well, you know, that's up to you. I'm going to stay in place.
Well, I think Keir Starmer is Mr. Rules. He's the former Director of Public Prosecutions. He knows how important it is that people follow the law, and the same is true of politicians. I think many of your viewers will be horrified at the way in which Boris Johnson has conducted himself in recent months, and more recently, the desire to sling mud and to make out that all politicians are the same, and to debase our politics and to reduce our democracy.
But the thing is, Bridget Phillipson, I'm not sure what has changed. I mean, none of that is new. If people have that view of the Prime Minister, then they already have that view. I'm not sure how Keir Starmer saying that he's going to step down, if he's found to have done the same thing, changes anyone's view of the Prime Minister.
I think it shows that not all politicians are the same. So Keir Starmer has been clear that whilst he maintains no rules are broken, and I'm confident about that too, that if the police issue him with a fine, he will do the right thing and resign. You look at the Prime Minister, who has been found to have broken the law and still won't take responsibility for his actions. And of course, those investigations are still ongoing and have yet to conclude. Okay, we've had 50 fines issued at Downing Street. We had all the bring your own booze parties. We had all kinds going on there. So
actually, it could be another fine for the Prime Minister that might change things, or the eventual revelations of what's in the Sue Gray report. I'm just not sure whether Sir Keir Starmer has sort of slightly scored an own goal here. But I want to pick you up on a phrase that you've used, and that is let the police investigate without fear or favour. Sir Keir Starmer has put pressure on the police, hasn't he, by saying there is a consequence to what they do. Is that allowing them to investigate without fear or favour?
I don't think the pressure that's been brought to bear on the police in recent days has been coming from Keir Starmer. I don't think that's where the pressure's been coming from. It is right that Durham Police investigate. Like all police forces, they understand that consequences follow from the decisions they take. That will not be news.
Yeah, but they know that
to police officers.
legal consequences follow from the decisions that they take. He's added another layer onto that, which is that he would no longer be the opposition leader to the Prime Minister. That's loading quite a lot onto a decision that they should make without fear or favour.
Look, I just don't agree. I don't think the pressure that's been coming has been coming from Keir Starmer. We've had day upon day of mudslinging from senior Tories around this. Keir Starmer has set out his position and they're still not happy. I'm not quite clear what more they want. You know, we've got a man in Keir Starmer who has honesty and integrity, who will do the right thing if he's found to have broken the rules. Although, as I say, I'm confident he has not done so.
OK, you've said all that several times now. Look, if this does actually go wrong for him, if he is fined, it's quite likely that Angela Rayner, therefore, would be fined, because she was at the same do. And you've lost your leader and you've lost your deputy in one fell swoop. Who might take over?
Well, that will be a matter for Labour's National Executive Committee, but it's not going to come to that. I mean, you're right that Angela Rayner has also set out that she would resign in the event that she's issued with a fine. But again, she did nothing wrong. Keir Starmer did nothing wrong. There won't be vacancies. They've done, you know, what they did was entirely in line with the rules when they were campaigning during elections, working hard. You know, there's nothing to see.
You can't second guess what the police are going to do. They may issue fines. I mean, you don't have a crystal ball. You don't know. So it comes back to the question, who would you like to see take over as leader? Who would your vote go for?
There's not going to be a change of leadership because I'm confident Keir Starmer didn't break any rules and there won't be a vacancy arising.
And yet he's had to come out and make a public statement that says if he did break the rules and is fined, he would resign. We just seem to be going round in circles. Why didn't he just stick to the line that he didn't break the rules and let other people get on with it?
I think it's a point of principle for Keir. He is someone who takes his responsibilities very seriously. He's diligent. He is committed. He has been a lawyer. He was a director of public prosecutions. I think he holds that very dearly, that politicians who are responsible for setting the rules should follow the rules. And therefore, it was right that he made clear his position around all of this. I think he's just seeking to do the right thing. Sometimes people just want to do the right thing, and that's what Keir's done here.
Yeah, just finally in this interview, if he is found to have broken the rules but he's not given a fine, does he still go?
Well, the consequence for breaking the rules is to be issued with a fine. So that in the event he's broken the rules, that's what will happen. And he's made clear his position if that were to take place.
So there's no scenario in which the police might say, right, we're not going to retrospectively issue a fine in this case, but there does seem to be a breach of the rules.
But you did it.
Well, if they find that Keir Starmer did it, in your words, then he'd be given a fine. I don't believe he will, but that is the penalty for breaching COVID laws. So that would be the consequence.
We'll know they think in about 5 or 6 weeks from now. We might be doing an interview with you, or maybe even Sir Keir then. Thanks very much.
Bridget Phillipson, thank you very much indeed.